kiss for you.
Different options when recommending a mouse, and so in this video we'll be taking a look at what to look for in a mouse and what to say to someone who is looking for a new mouse if they ask you. Let's get started. When people ask what mouse I should get or what mouse they recommend me to get, I always start thinking about the use case and determine why they need a certain mouse to begin with. Is it for productivity or for gaming? Then I move on to the certain preferences that they might think of. Do they want a wired or wireless mouse, a heavy or light mouse, one that has Bluetooth or a receiver-based connection, one that's long-lasting or throwaway after a couple of months? What kind of hand style do they want? A right-handed or ambidextrous? Do they want a battery-powered mouse or one you need to charge? That sounds like a lot, and in some cases it can be, so I'm here to break it down the best I can. For each of the use cases, I try to explain the typical benefits or daily observations of using that type of mouse. For example, productivity mice are usually right-handed mice that are heavier and connect through some type of Bluetooth or receiver. They can be wired or wireless and will always have lower tracking rates than gaming mice. They tend to have worse warranties and generally cheaper parts as well, but have special features like Logitech's Flow, which allows those mice to continuously be used across multiple screens without having to set anything up. I would recommend that even if a person doesn't game, they consider a gaming mouse for a number of reasons. Next, you'll need to determine if they want a wireless mouse with no cord, but that has to be charged either by putting a battery in or by plugging a cord in, or a wired mouse that plugs into the computer itself. If it's between a Bluetooth wireless mouse that can only connect through Bluetooth and a wired option, recommend the wired one. This will cause less problems because wired have less connection issues and generally are more stable and don't have any of the problems that Bluetooth has. Bluetooth mice are awful for stable connections and latency and clicks. They disconnect constantly and the latency can be so bad at times because of some hiccup in a software or Bluetooth or something that it can be almost unusable at times. The two wireless options are rechargeable, so every so often you plug in a little cord micro USB cable into the mouse, charging it like a phone, or two, sticking a battery inside the mouse. Both of these options will still require the use of a small USB receiver to transmit a signal, so similar to a wired mouse, you still have to insert and plug something in to the computer. Doesn't matter which of the two options they choose, it's up to personal preference. Ask them about the weight of their mouse. Many people don't think about it, but the weight of the mouse plays a big role. Better productivity mice, as stated before, tend to be much heavier, around 130 to 150 grams, which is quite heavy and you can feel it. While lighter mice tend to be around 70 to 100 grams. I personally like lighter weight mice, as you can see by the Razer Viper that I did a review on. I think most common folk will enjoy lighter weight mice as they don't have to deal with the feeling of being weighted down. So a lighter weight mouse with higher quality parts and feel is generally recommended. After you determine the use case, connection type, weight, hand shape preference, so that's either right-handed mouse for someone that's right-handed, or if they're left-handed or don't really care, a symmetrical or ambidextrous mouse works well. And the general design, so if they have a specific design that they want, if they care about that, then you pick that out as well. After all those are done, you have to think about the price. This is the hardest part and one that will probably take some convincing. Why would you spend $100 to $150 on a quality mouse when you can get this $25 mouse from Amazon that has the receiver and a battery and no software to download? And they might be right in many cases. For most people, they will not see or care about the difference. But as a gift to them in any way that you can give them a good mouse, one that will last them a long time, and that they'll be grateful for, even if they don't say so. So remember, ask them about the use case, gaming and productivity, to determine what connection type they want, wired or wireless. Strongly advise against Bluetooth because of the connection issues. Find what weight is best for them, generally lightweight is better. The extra features that you might see in a bunch of these mouse, like more customizable buttons, they might actually never use, so it won't always be the best option. When you explain what the customizable buttons are for, like forward, back, copy, paste, opening specific programs, creating shortcut, common use software, that kind of stuff, if they don't have a use for it, don't make it a requirement for them. Don't say, hey, you need this if they give you the case and they don't actually need it. If the mouse you buy from Logitech or Razer or any of the other options, if software is required in order to use the mouse or installed, it's strongly recommended that you get a mouse with onboard memory storage. So you can store all the button mapping and all the colors and anything you might need on the mouse instead of having it to be on the software, so you can just delete the software later without having to go through the software for setup and stuff, which is critical. People tend to not like checking software for things and will straight up forget about it and ruin the mouse if they have firmware that's not updated. The less setup generally, the better. When you do this checklist here, going through the steps, you'll be sure to recommend a mouse that will be a great match for them, no doubt. This video was mainly focused on people that aren't in the tech circle. I'm sorry if you were looking for a more technical recommendation. I might do another one about gaming mice and specific control inputs if people want to see that, but most people who watch my stuff aren't big into that, so I didn't want to bore them with this technical info. Anyways, see everyone in the next video.